Bonjour, bonjour. Hi, everybody. Welcome back from spring break. Um, Not sure what kind of a spring break you guys had. I hope it was at least restful. Um, didn't have to worry too much about school or other things. We tried really hard to rest over here. We tried really hard to just focus on um, getting outside while the weather was nice, doing some house projects and things like that. So we're ready to kind of finish strong for the rest of the semester. So we're going to talk about a few things that are going to change over the next few weeks. So we talked about this beforehand, and I'll remind you now. We do have kind of a new schedule to which we're going to adhere, and all teachers are going to do pretty much the same thing. So, for example, on a Monday, we're going to introduce a lesson. Maybe it's something new, maybe it's a review of something. Today, for example, we're going to be doing some review. On Tuesday, you get an assignment that helps you practice that particular new lesson that the teacher introduced. And then on Wednesday, you have time to finish it up. Nothing new will be introduced, no new assignments, no new information, but all teachers, myself included, were available to you on Wednesday, for example, for a check in if you need help or clarification with something. So, how does that affect French 1? Glad you asked because I'm going to tell you. So, we're basically going to be finishing by splitting your time between our culture Padlet, we're not going to let go of that yet, and working on the fantasy family tree. After thinking really long and hard about this is just too good of a project. There's no reason that we can't do this digitally and virtually. I can walk you guys through this with whatever you need. So, just so that you guys are clear, I'll have a review or a lesson every Monday with just a basic check-in for attendance purposes. And then you've got Tuesday and Wednesday to do the work. So it's two workday sessions that you guys will have to complete both the Padlet for the week as well as working on your fantasy family tree, which is really a fun activity. I think it's going to be fun to do, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So my uh, suggestion basically is to make about 4 to 5 slides on one of your work days. It doesn't take long. It really is the sort of thing. And you could work ahead. You could do as many slides as you wanted to. That would not be an issue and the slightest. You do have 2 work days for this, so there's absolutely no reason to stress. If there's something else going on, all I can ask you is please be in contact with your teachers or your counselors or a social worker. We can't read your mind if something else is going on. If your family issues are taking precedence over school, you guys have to reach out, okay? I would ask that you try to post your updated work in the proper place. I'll give you a place every week to put something. I'd like to be able to find it easily so I can give you guys maximum credit for this. Keep in mind, if you still owe me work from before spring break, I will accept anything you want to turn in from our virtual learning. So if you've got extra time, you want to work on something that didn't get finished before spring break, you guys are always welcome to turn things in. I will never tell you no. And if you need any assistance working on something, gee, Miss LaFrance, I just don't really, get how to do this. Just sing out. I am here. You guys can hit me up for a um, Google Meet at any time. That's fine. During the school day, or if you've got other obligations, hey, it's okay if we meet at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's fine too. You guys tell me when the good time for you to meet is, and I can pretty much make it happen. My kids are still doing e-learning as well, so we're all busy here. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what the heck's a fantasy family tree? I'm going to tell you, and I'm so excited about this. Basically, your fantasy family tree is you being able to come up with whatever celebrities, musicians, singers, actors, athletes, any public figures you want who are going to serve as people in your family. Now, you do have to have a certain number of people. This is one of my expectations. You're going to have a total of 15 slides, 14 people, including yourself. So you're really only using 13 other family members. You need to have yourself. You need to have a mother and a father. You need to have a grandmother and a grandfather, an aunt, an uncle, a male cousin, a female cousin, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, and a spouse. That's just absolute minimums. If you want to include more or have several children, that's up to you. But this is your minimum that I'm expecting. You cannot use anybody from real life. You cannot use your best friend. You cannot use your actual family, because in this way, you get a chance to practice all of these things. Now, y'all are too young to have a spouse, but we get to practice saying my husband or my wife. Um, Perhaps you've lost somebody tragically. We don't want to bring up anything that's going to be painful to you. So we just really want us to focus on a fantasy family. I get that. I still, grieve my own loss. So I really don't want to bring up, anything that's going to, make you guys uncomfortable or unhappy. And if it does get uncomfortable or unhappy for you, again, just reach out and let me know how I can help. Okay? So, what are my other expectations for this? Other than the 15 slides and making sure that everybody is a celebrity or a public figure of some sort, make sure you've got a picture. It can be just a still picture that you find on the internet of them, or a GIF or a GIF. I don't know if you want to get into that conversation today or not. You should preview all photos to make sure that they're appropriate for classroom usage. In other words, if your favorite musician is wearing some symbols that might not be appropriate, or a t-shirt that has a logo that's not school appropriate, maybe you should find a different picture. Any inappropriate languages or symbols, and again, I'm happy to preview stuff with you, but if you choose not to take my advice and you put it up there anyways, you get a 0 for the project. So please don't do that. We're going to be introducing the person's name and specifying his or her relationship to you. I'll show you in a second. We have an example. We're also going to give that person's age. It's a great way to kind of go back and review some of our numbers. We are going to be using Google Slides. You guys can do a Prezi if you really want to. That's fine too, but I really recommend Google Slides for this. You're going to submit a finished and proofread slideshow. I'm happy to help you proofread anything you want to do ahead of time. You will need to rehearse and pre-record the narration. Now, I know that for some of you guys, some of the technology is not working as well as you would like it to. We'll work around that. And that's why we're trying to do little pieces at a time so that we have time to try to work through any of the obstacles that you might be having. You can certainly be as creative as you wish. And again, I think once you guys get into the project, it's a lot of fun. It lets me see, who are the people that you enjoy as public figures. Uh, Politicians, athletes, musicians, singers, rappers, artists, just all kinds of stuff. It's kind of fascinating to see this. And I hope you guys really take pride in showing me, this little part of yourself. So about the grading, let's take a look at that. This is a 50-point project. So there's basically 45 points per slide. Each slide is worth 3 points. 1 point for usage of your possessive adjective, mon mar me, more about that in a minute. 1 use for family member vocabulary, and then 1 just for spelling and grammar overall. 5 points beyond that just for overall creativity and following directions. You will get participation points for submitting your weekly progress on Google Classroom. My advice is to make 5 slides per week. The whole project, slides plus narration, is going to be due by May the 6th. This is subject to change. This kind of depends on how you guys are doing with it. So we'll work with that as it comes. But for right now, I'm kind of predicting a May 6th due date. Once you've made all of your slides, make them all first, then do the narration. I will definitely be able to help you out with any technical issues, but this has to happen. It just simply has to happen. So we'll try to work on this and do some practice runs prior to the due date to make sure that everybody has a good feel for how to record your narration together. The last thing, the most important thing, is follow the model exactly to get maximum points. This isn't something you can stick into Google Translate. This is something I'm expecting to be very precise and very exact. And I can show you. I do have, if I scroll down here, here's my sample slide. It's actually not a slide, but that's okay. Voici Chris Hemsworth. Remember, voici means here is. Voici Chris Hemsworth. C'est mon mari. If you don't remember what family relationship that is, you'll have to go back and take a look. Il a 36 ans. So those are the 3 pieces of information that I want about each of your fantasy family tree members. What is his or her name? What is his or her relationship to you? How old is that person? Those are the 3 things I'm expecting. That's your 3 points per slide right there. And it really is just that easy. Generally speaking, if we were still in the classroom, you guys would only have about 2 days, perhaps 2 class days to work on this. So spreading this out over several weeks, you guys will really be able to get this done a lot more quickly than you think. And plus, it's just a whole lot of fun. Now, let's talk a little bit about, let's review. I want to go back and review real quickly for our family members. And I want to talk about our usages of our possessive adjectives mon, ma, and me. So let's sneak over here real quick. So you've seen this before. This is the family vocabulary. It's the same image that I've used the last time. What I'm going to do is go through the pronunciation again and talk about what all of these words mean, just as a good review for you. But again, we did all this before spring break. So if you'd like to, go ahead and repeat after me. Répétez. La famille, les grands-parents, le grand-père, la grand-mère. Okay, and those are obviously grandparents, grandfather, and grandmother. Next set. Répétez. Les parents, le père, la mère, le mari, la femme. Okay, so here we've got parents specifically. We have father, mother, husband, and wife. Hopefully you notice what word was in there. All right, next section. Répétez. Les enfants, un enfant, une enfant, le frère, la sœur, le fils, la fille. So these are all the vocabulary words that deal with children. So a child, un enfant, une enfant. Notice there's no E on une enfant. You just change it for un enfant, une enfant. A male child, a female child. Le frère, la sœur, brother and sister. Le fils, and remember, it's one of those really funky, going back to old French words. It's spelled F-I-L-S, but we pronounce it fees, like pay the fees. Le fils and la fille, the daughter. That double L gives us a y sound, la fille. All right, a couple other relatives, and this is as far out as we're going. Other relatives, les parents. You can use that word to talk about parents, the people who made you genetically, or just relatives in general, people to whom you're related. We've got l'oncle, la tante. Those are both pretty straightforward. Cousin is the same word, but we are going to adjust it for gender. Répétez le cousin, la cousine. Those are cousins, masculine and feminine. So these are all the vocab words that we're going to be working with for the fantasy family tree. Now, let's talk about our possessive adjectives. We are going to delve more into this in the coming weeks. Now, to use or to say my, to say this person is my, okay, we're talking about that relationship. We have three words that we could choose from. We can have mon, ma, and me. And I know you've seen these before, but let's just go ahead and clarify. We're going to use mon for our masculine relative. So, mon père, my father, mon frère, my brother, mon fils, my son, mon oncle, my uncle, mon grand-père, my grandfather, mon mari, my husband, mon cousin, my cousin, male cousin. We're going to use ma for all of our female relatives. So we've got ma mère, my mother, ma sœur, my sister, ma fille, my daughter, ma tante, my aunt, ma grand-mère, ooh, there's no accent on that, sorry, my grandmother, ma femme, my wife, ma cousine, my cousin, my female cousin. And if you are going to have any plurals, you can. I think most of what you're going to be using is going to be mon and ma. But again, if you choose to have more than one, we're going to use mes. So for anything plural, so for example, mes frères, my brothers, mes sœurs, my sisters, mes enfants, my children, mes fils, my sons, plural, mes filles, my daughters, plural, or mes grands-parents. Now, please note, you do have to have one slide per person. So you can't just put mes grands-parents up there. I am expecting mon grand-père and ma grand-mère. Now, if you want to have multiple, you want to talk about two sets of grandparents, it's a whole different story. But I'm expecting at least one slide for a grandfather, one slide for a grandmother. Same thing with brothers and sisters. At least one slide for a or more brothers and another slide for a or more sisters. If you guys have questions, just shout out. You guys know I'll respond. So that's kind of what we're working with there. Let's go back real quickly to my sample slide so that you can see how that works out. So we'll pop back over here to Chris Hemsworth. All right. Voici Chris Hemsworth. Again, I've identified him. That's one thing that I'm looking for on the slide. C'est mon mari. This is, or he is, my husband. Mon mari. Mon. I chose mon because Chris is a dude. All right. And then il a 36 ans. He is 36 years old. Those are the three things that I'm looking for as you guys are working on these slides. And again, this is not going to take a whole lot of time. Okay? If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Send me a Google message, ask for a Google Meet, send me an email, put up a smoke signal, send out a messenger pigeon, do something, anything. But just let me know how I can help. You guys have got this. I have absolute confidence in you, and I cannot wait to see the creative things that you guys come up with. All right? Merci, mes amis. Au revoir.